Hopefully I'm in focus. What's up, guys? Magnus here, and I'm on the way to Dominican Republic with my dad. And during this trip I had a question come up while I was reviewing YouTube comments, and it's, what good is 4K? Now the EOS M50 and the A7 III both support 4K, obviously. EOS M50 is the first Canon mirrorless camera to support 4K, but one of the questions that came up is, why is 4K a big deal? What good is 4K? Well, I'm shooting this video in 4K using the GH5, and I'm going to show you what 4K can do. What's 4K? Don't know what it is. Alright guys, let's start this trip. Now with the ability to record in 4K, it allows me to get up close and personal even if I don't have the zoom range on my lens. That's one of the advantages of 4K. To be able to, even though you're outputting in 1080p, you'll get a zoom range that your lens might not be capable of. Not only that, but the ability to do different angles and actually switch camera angles while using one camera at a time without having to use multiple cameras at different zoom ranges is an incredible advantage. So a moment ago I'm standing back here, so I'm going to stand there again. Now in this wide shot intro, I can tell you guys basically about what I'm doing here and why I'm here, and the advantages of 4K. And then just like that, zoom in and not have a dip in quality, especially if I'm outputting in 1080p. Even more if I'm outputting at a lower resolution, depending on what my customer wants. So that is one of the many advantages of 4K. Let's switch it up and see what else we got. So let's talk about color. Now, color is important, detail is important, and final resolution and output is important. If your intentions are outputting 1080p and not 4K, well then, what's the advantage of having 4K if you're going to output 1080p anyway, and you don't need all those camera angles because you're just doing a single one shot and you're good type of shot? Well, simple. Let's look at the detail of a recording in 1080p versus the detail of a recording of that same shot in 4K. Now it's gonna look nice, of course, as I squeeze on out here. So a 4K shot and a 1080p shot, you put them side by side, even if it's the same camera angle, the same subject, you're gonna be able to down-res that 4K footage and make it look a lot more detailed in 1080p if you recorded it originally at 4K. Now let's think about color space. For example, there's different readings that you get when it comes to recording, or modes that manufacturers might mention, like 422, 420, 10-bit, or 8-bit. Well, regardless if you get 8-bit or 10-bit, that's a different subject. Let's stick to the 422 and 420. If you're down-resing a 420 4K clip, you're getting, even though the 420 is limited color information in the original 4K recording, when you down-res it, you're kind of crunching that color information together. Now you might down-res it to 420 anyway, but the information that your file has to work with before it down-reses gives your output frame a lot more detail than you would have originally if you recorded at 1080p 420. Even compared with 1080p 8-bit 422. You just have to play around and see what you get and what you actually, your final picture is. So that's another advantage of recording in 4K. What else have we got here? Well, to be honest, I'm in my grandmother's house, and my grandmother's house is, yeah, pretty nice. Fun to stay here. But for this shot, let's see what else we got. And now here we are today, and I've got the opportunity to really put 4K to the test. Now, in my camera bag, all I've got is a 35 millimeter lens. And besides that, on this, I got the 11 to 20 millimeter lens, all with the Metabone Speed Booster. And I was asked by my family to actually film a dedication ceremony for my grandmother. The city wants to honor her for her charitable contributions to society and to the poor, so they actually wanted me to film it since I have my equipment here. And this will be a good way to really put 4K to the test, because since I don't have really good zoom lenses, if I'm pretty far from the actual ceremony, I'm gonna have to figure something out to get good quality up close and personal with these wide angle lenses. So, here we go. So when the event began, I could see that there were several cameramen already prepared to film. I was told to sit with my family a few rows behind my grandmother. From the get-go, I could tell I had to be creative when I was filming. During the event, I walked up a few rows, but still had to keep my distance from the barrage of people that were up on the stage. I wanted to have the flexibility of being able to switch angles at a moment's notice in case something happened that I couldn't predict. So where does the 4K come in? Simple. Thanks to the added resolution of 4K, not only was I able to crop in on the footage to still be able to output in HD with a much closer shot, but I was also able to steady the footage using Warp Stabilizer in Adobe Premiere. So all in all, the shoot went pretty well, and I already edited a short little video clip of what I needed and sent it to family members so that they can watch my grandmother receive her award. So I can honestly say that 4K saved this shot, saved this whole setup, and it's just pretty much a no-brainer to me when it comes to these type of films. I still shoot in HD in plenty of occasions, but when needed, 4K to me gives me the best output, regardless if I'm outputting in 4K or 1080p. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, like, share, and I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my short little vacation before coming back. And as always, you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys later.